Yes, people, we are back and back with a brand new channel. So, new channel now is going to be called Freehand Talks Football. So, I'd appreciate any support, any likes and subscribes. I'm going to do a lot of weekly content when it comes to Chelsea games, pre-match previews, post-match reviews. We've obviously got a lot to talk about recently with Chelsea anyway, the way things are going. But also views like football content in general. Obviously a bit vague and all that, but I do like to talk about football. I like to talk about other teams and how they're getting on. So it's not just a one-stop shop when it comes to Chelsea. And also, I do like my gaming, so a bit of FIFA here and there, or EFC if you're going to call it. So I do like a bit of content on that. So if you like a bit of mix of all football, like to see a bit of pre-match reviews, previews, and just all kind of things talking about football, then please give us a little like, subscribe, show the support. I really do appreciate it on this new channel. And today we're going to talk about Chelsea versus Benfica in the Champions League. And none other of the return of the special one. Chelsea's probably, in my opinion, greatest ever manager. The guy won 3 league titles in 2 different eras at Chelsea. That defensive unit at the back, 15 goals conceded in a whole season, was just absolutely unheard of. And right now, I don't ever see that getting broken. But yeah, before we get into all this, people, big game to talk about tonight. I'm going to be talking about the return of the special one, Mr. Mourinho at the helm again. Going to be talking about the last few times we've played Benfica. We've had maybe 2 or 3 different competitions we've played them in and came out successful in every single one over the last 10, 12-year period. In general, what we need to do to win this match and how do we need to get back in the winning trail. And also I mentioned, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk about my scoreline, who I think is going to also play in the team. I'm going to go through my starting 11 and then people I'd like to see coming off the bench, hopefully with 11 men and hopefully in the fucking lead, let's be honest. So yes, people, as you know, this is a new channel, so please, you can show the support. Like, give me a little subscribe if you want to see my content going forward. As I've mentioned, I'm going to be doing the reviews and the previews, and we'll get into this. José Mourinho versus Enzo Maresca. Old blood versus new blood. Different dynamics of styles, different dynamics of tactics, but all with a similar goal. That was to get Chelsea to the cream of the crop. Mourinho obviously done that in many different ways, and he done that with his own style, his own identity. And the park and the bus tactic kind of came into fruition with Chelsea, and him especially, the way he loved to control a game. And what we would do right now to have a defensive unit as solid as that, it didn't matter who played, the result was always the same, the outcome was always the same, the tactics were always the same. Chelsea went out there and done the business. They didn't concede goals. They had a spine, a solid back of your Czechs, your Carvalhos, your leaders, captains, John Terry. Then obviously in the future, Ashley Cole came into all that and Branislav Ivanovic. But before that, it was your Paulo Ferreiras, your William Gallas at left back. That back five was solid. Then your midfield, always your Claude Makeleles, your Frank Lampards. Then it was going to go into trickle into different kind of players going forward, like your Robbins coming through, your Duff, your Joe Cole. Obviously up top, Didier Drogba, but we still had a bit of Good Johnson here. That team, like every single one of their players died for the badge. Every one of them worked their absolute socks off for the badge. If they went down to 10 men, they did not lose games. Very rarely did they lose a game going down to 10 men. We've had 2 in a row. Went down. Shocking tactics by the manager, let's be honest. I don't want to come here and slander Enzo. That's what it's not all about. But you've got to take some accountability there. You're bringing on players, too defensive, no outlets going forward. The only player up top is João Pedro. Can't do it all on his own. What are you meant to do? You need to have about 2 or 3 fast or flair players in behind him. I think Neto got hauled off again. Neto made that one run and he nearly got into the box. He got huckled down just before that. Just have that on the outlet, a little bit of counter, because Brighton were going to keep bombing forward. And all it took was just that one through ball and one moment. And we did have it. We got Malo Gusto. And I'm sorry, but he wet himself. What the hell was he doing there? I know the manager probably shouldn't be bringing someone on like that. I know he tried to help James out with a bit of defensive stability at the back, going back from Minty. But oh my God, Malo Gusto. I've said this time and time again, obviously you see my old channel, I've said this time again, Malo Gusto going forward is a bomb scare. He gets a nosebleed, he doesn't know what he's doing going forward. He's good at sitting back, getting us up the pitch, but him actually having to go through on goal or get close to going on goal, he's useless, he's hopeless. That's why Reece James, if he was fitter all the time and he could actually have that burst of pace, I'd have him playing up the pitch 10 times more than I would Malo Gusto. But anyway, let's not talk about that. It's return of the special one. Chelsea, Benfica. We've not been in the Champions League, I think, a home game anyway, for about 2.5 years, maybe in the Champions League. So I think now is the time to kind of get back on that winning trail. I don't see Benfica being a major threat, but what I do see is us being a threat to ourselves if we play appalling, if we don't do things right. In the Brighton game, we probably could have been 2 or 3-0 up at half time. We were unlucky to do that. And then second half, as soon as that red card happened, that was it. Heads went down again. Manager made poor tactics, and that was us. Like, just The crowd could sense it, we could sense it. Game was a bogey. So, one, we need to keep 11 players on the pitch. Two, we need to score a couple of goals to stop the fact of if we do go down to 10 men, which is shocking, shouldn't be saying if we go down to 10 men, shouldn't be happening. It's happened twice in a row. But if that does happen, we actually have a couple of goals lead to not completely throw it away. And three, play the game, don't play the occasion. Right, Mourinho's going to be there. Hopefully, it's going to take a little bit of eyes off of Maresca tonight, and Chelsea can just go out and do their thing. But it's also going to be a chance for players like Hatto to really solidify their position at centre back. Because if he plays as well as he did against Brighton tonight, I can see him being kind of that centre half going forward. Because let's be honest, he's going to be a better player than Badiashile. Badiashile coming back from injury, Fofana's obviously concussed. We're going to need players to perform for the Liverpool game coming up. So just going to be one of the things tonight. We need to get out there and get the job done. But yeah, in an ideal world, if we can get players back integrated before the weekend, we can also manage to get the win tonight, start bringing players off quite early, and then we'll think to look into the future, because right now we need a bit of luck to go away. We need a win, and we need a good convincing win. The manager needs a win. The fact that the fans are starting to turn on him already, I know we pay the prices, we want to go and see our team win games, but this guy works wonders with us. Is the people that should be getting moaned at is the guys up top, the sales directors, and not even Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley's actually not too bad. It's that Egg Bally guy. You need to get them, the ones that the guys hit them in the pocket deep, give them a shout, actual scream at them, not the manager. I know he's had some questionable decisions in the last couple of games when we went down to 10 men, and he's even came out and put his hands up and owned that. And that's fair enough. I like that accountability from that. So what I'd say tonight is get in there, everyone, good face on. Mourinho's back, happy days. Let's go and get the win. Show respect and the love to Jose, show the respect and the love to Enzo, and get out there and get the 3 points. Yeah, and as we know, the last few times we've played Benfica, just look at the history books. We've obviously got that special moment from Ivanovic after the goal Torres scored as well. I know he had a bit of a rocky career with Chelsea, but he showed up in the big games and the big moments when he needed to. Big game player for us, actually, let's be honest. And of course, we actually played against Benfica in the triumph of the Champions League way back in 2011. If you think Almirella's giving it the old to his old support. So that was a really nice and touching moment. I think Ramirez scored in that game as well. Was this we had a great run in that Champions League, didn't we? Beating all these kind of big teams home and away. And then recently we've beat them in the Club World Cup. You remember Reece James scoring that beautiful free kick. I think it went to extra time as well. Then Mr. Nkuku, I know he's away now, but what we could do with a kind of player like that coming off the bench these days just shows whenever we play these guys home or away, we usually do get the win against them. So tonight should be no different. Doesn't matter what competition it's in, we always beat them. So tonight should be no different. Think of the players that we've got at our disposal compared to what they've got at their disposal. They might have a new manager bounce under Mourinho, but if we can get the fans on our side quite quickly, quite early, we should be comfortably beating these teams. Before we get into my lineup for tonight's game, I want to give special shout outs to Thiago Mendes. Obviously, we bought him from Benfica back in 2004. One of Mourinho's kind of first signings, and the way he implemented his new kind of structured midfield with McAllister and Lampard. Thiago Mendes had a great season under Chelsea. Goal scored against Man United as well, absolute belter at Old Trafford. Then obviously, in the more kind of recent years, your Ramirez's, your Nemanja Matic's, David Luiz, and obviously right now Enzo Fernandez. And the beauty is all these players that we signed from them, they've all went on to lift huge trophies. So let's hopefully tonight we can go out and start implementing a new style of play and get us towards lifting a trophy in the future. My lineup for tonight, I need to try and think about the weekend coming up as well. It can't just be best players out, go and get the win, then move on to the next game. I think we need to be a bit strategic tonight, especially about suspensions, red cards, injuries. But I think we need to think courses for courses, but also try and look to the future as well. So, in goal, Bob Sanchez, back in sticks, I thought wasn't really anything to do with you at the weekend, big man. It was more the calamity and the capitulation after the red card and the tactics, what we played, just did not suit our game. Right back, Reece James. Good to see him start playing 90 minutes again, starting to look like he's actually comfortable and he's not getting injuries or little tweaks here and there, touch wood. So, and after Malo Gusto's performance in the cameo the other day, I don't want him anywhere near the start lineup tonight, I'm sorry. I know it's good to have him kind of for covering for Reece James, but if Reece James is fit and available, Reece James is playing. The backs, we're going to go Trev Chalobah and Jarell Hatto. I think Chalobah needs to play, we need experience in the ranks. I know he got sent off at the weekend, so he won't be playing at the weekend at all. So we need tonight a bit more experienced people next to Hatto. I thought them two complemented each other really well at the weekend, to be honest. And if it wasn't for the immaturity and kind of mistake from Santos that led to Chalobah getting red carded, I thought they probably would have held out for a clean sheet. So they two will be my starting centre halves. And obviously the ever dependable Mr. Cucurella left back. Midfield double pivot, I'm going to go Moises Caicedo and Andre Santos. I think after the way they both played, Santos had that moment. Obviously, it was a massive moment. It changed the game for us in the worst way possible. But I don't think that should be a cause for him to get chucked off. I thought, apart from that, he actually played well, and he's played well in the last few games. So I think I'd stick them two together. And then now we have Lavia back. He can be someone that brings on the second half. Right wing, Pedro Neto didn't really get a chance to do too much at the weekend there. As soon as we went down to 10 men, that was it. The game was kind of over for him. He had that one bust and he got fouled. Apart from that, I'd like to see more from him. I think in recent weeks he's not really had the chance to show what he can do. So get him on the right wing, let him get playing. Attacking midfield, I'm going to Enzo Fernandez tonight. I thought, at least had a lot of stick recently, but I thought he'd done actually well at the weekend. Apart from after the goal, after the red cards, and everyone lost their head, that was it. Everyone's head kind of mentality went down, but didn't help with the substitutions. If you notice the ball he did play through for Gusto, who could have ran on and done something with it, but yet Gusto just completely shut the bed, in my opinion. So I think Enzo proves he is a good number 10. I'd stick number 10 there for Enzo tonight. And my left wing, I'm going to have Garnacho a run out. It's going to get minutes under his legs, and it's also going to give a chance to other players to kind of get themselves back into the kind of groove of things as well. We need a bit of rotation in there, so tonight Garnacho will be my left winger. And up top, João Pedro will be starting for me again as a striker, but this time he needs service into him. He needs balls into his feet, he needs balls into his chest, he needs head balls into the air so he can head them. He just needs service. He's not getting any chance to actually do anything. He's getting the ball at the halfway line and turning, and we've got no one running off him. The way we started the season to the way we're playing right now, it's a completely different team. So we need to really up it in that respect. So I want João Pedro getting a lot of service tonight, balls flying in from all angles. And Europe, we get a little bit more time on the ball as well, so it'll be a good actual chance to kind of manoeuvre players around, get Pedro Neto in behind, get Garnacho in behind, and actually play like a real team again. So I think tonight, João Pedro, if you can get that service, get a goal, get an assist, and get off at 60 minutes. Now to the final thoughts on the scoreline. Final thoughts, I think the game is going to go as a whole. It's going to be kind of one of the games where we're going to have a lot of the ball. Mourinho's is going to be tight, kind of part the bus motion. You know what he likes to do. Kind of the crowd are going to be giving it a bit of here, and everywhere, but in a good way. I think it's going to help Everton with Maresca as well because he's not going to have a bit of other pressure on him unless Benfica go and score early or we get a red card. Then it's going to go. Hopefully that's something that's not going to be in the future for tonight. But what I will say, Chelsea need to go out there with a bit of authority and get the fans back on their side because the way they've been playing the last few games, with 10 minutes especially, is just not acceptable for a club like us. We used to be down to 10 men and see a game out or win a game. Nowadays, you can even wish for anything like that. Only one performance with a red card for 10 men I thought we actually looked like a good team in was Newcastle away last season, even though they won 2-0. We actually dominated the play. We were all over them. We should have scored a couple of times. Nowadays, especially the performance just at the weekend there, as soon as we went down to 10 men, second half, heads went completely down. It was shocking. So I don't want to see any of that tonight if it happens. Scoreline, I'm going to say Chelsea 3, Benfica 1. I think we're going to get the win tonight. I think we're going to come out with a bit of authority and just going to get through the boys, tell them what needs to happen to keep the standards high to play in this Chelsea team. Bit of fresh legs in there as well, but also look towards the weekend. Get players off quite early. I want Caicedo off early. I want João Pedro off early, and I want Reece James off early, albeit we're winning 2-0 by 60 minutes, and then we can start bringing the changes. Get a bit of like introduce. I think Badiashile should come back on. Hattel can move to left back. Cucurella can come off as well. So just kind of rest these players a little bit. I'd also probably bring Achimpong on as well at some point. That's my predictions for tonight, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, this is a new channel with an old face, so if you want to see a bit more of this content going forward, please hit the subscribe, and also if you can be so kind to hit a like, give me your thoughts on what you think the scoreline is going to be tonight, and I look forward to seeing the next one.